Alrighty, today I'm going to share with you how you can increase lead quality using 5 super simple methods you can start applying today within the next 10 minutes after watching this video. So let's dive right in. Number uno is targeting. You can change the people that you target, right? For example, let's say if you do ads, you can change the zip code or the postal code or the area that you're targeting in to a higher class area. If you're doing outbound, right, you can pre-qualify or target a higher quality individual. For example, you could only target people in the top 1% of the industry. You could only target people that meet a certain income requirement, or only target people with a certain amount of followers. You could increase the quality of the person before you even reach out to them. So that's the number one way, or I guess the first way that you can increase the lead quality, which is changing your targeting. Stick around because number 5 is actually the best tip. But number 2 is the friction. Okay, it's the amount of hoops that they have to jump through in order to get the thing. So for example, let's say if you had a simple lead magnet and it was click this button, get the thing. You are going to get a lot more people, right, to click the thing because there's less hoops to jump through. But let's say it was click this thing, fill out this, go here, do that, jump on this page, redirect here, fill out this, check your email, boom, bam, biddly damn, and you have 7 different hoops that they have to jump through in order to get the thing they want. You're only going to have higher quality, higher intent people that actually want the thing you're giving, right? Because some people will just get the thing because it's easy to get. But if you make the thing harder to get, the people that actually go and get it, the more hoops they have to jump through, the higher intent they have, therefore the higher quality the lead will be. So step number 2 is adding friction to the thing you are giving. Alrighty, so that's number 2. Now number 3. The third thing that we can do is we can add applications, right? So instead of just giving them the thing, we can add applications, and within this application we can use psychological questions to pre-frame a higher quality individual, right? So let me just write this out here. Application. Wow, forgive my spelling. It's supposed to application. And what this would look like is, let's say you're scheduling a sales call. Instead of just saying name, email, phone number, what you could do instead is name, email, phone number. What have you tried in the past? Where are you currently at? What are your goals? And then you could even say at the very end, if you got some balls, you could even say, are you ready to invest X into growing yourself? For example, let's say if your service costs $10,000, you could ask something like, are you willing to invest $5,000 to fix problem or to better yourself? And then that way you really filter through only the higher quality people that you want to hop on a call with, that you want to chat to. And that's the third way that we can increase lead quality, is having an application process to apply to get the thing we want. Because if somebody applies, they have way higher intent, therefore they are higher quality. Now number 4 that I've written down here is provide value. Okay, and so what I mean by this, right? Let's say if you just make a 30-second video saying, HVAC business owners, I can guarantee you that you will close an extra 20 deals next month using the secret system that we just built out, yada, yada, yada. And it's a 30-second call to action to get this free lead magnet. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of people who want this thing because now they're interested, they're curious. But if you make the video long and boring and just give value and show them what to do, the people that now go out of their way after that to go and get the thing that you offer will be way higher intent, because one, not only have they watched more content and they're more nurtured and they're more exposed to who you are, but also they now have way higher intent because they've already got the thing that you are giving away. And if they're still interested, obviously they are way more qualified because they have more intent. So number 4 is providing value upfront, providing the boring value, right? Like when you give the value, when you give the thing that most people sell as the lead magnet upfront, you inherently will have less people on the back end because you've given them what they want. But the people that now filter through are way more qualified because they already really want the thing now, and they already know, like, and trust you more because you've already given them value. So number 4 is providing value. Number 5, okay? And by the way, we're not done after number 5. I got a special little one for you, is the nature of the offer, right? Like free versus paid. So let's write this down as offer, right? The nature of the offer. If you offer a free offer versus a paid offer, obviously the quality of the individual will be way different. If you give away a free lead magnet, the quality of those individuals will be a lot lower than if you said, hey, buy my $97 course. The quality of that individual will be way higher and they'll have way higher intent because of the nature of the offer itself, right? When we give away free things, some people will do it just because it's free, so it doesn't cost them anything. So like, okay, well, why not? And so when we increase the nature of our offer, we then increase the lead quality that we have. Now, one thing I need to mention with all these things is all of these things will cut off volume, right? The more you qualify people, the more quality leads you have, the less quality you'll have, right? So it's a quantity versus quality issue here, right? Every time you add one of these things in, you decrease the quality, right? If you add more hoops, you decrease the quality. If you add an application, you decrease the quality. If you only target a certain area, you decrease the quantity. And over and over and over and over and over, you decrease the quantity of people that you can have when you pre-qualify, or I shouldn't say pre-qualify, but when you get higher quality leads. And so this brings us into a totally another issue, which is something I like to call flow. Okay? Now, what is flow? Something Alex Hormozi talks about in flow is, well, if we look up the definition of flow, what is... Let's see, the definition of flow is a flow state, also known as... Okay, I'm not talking about the flow state. Anyways, when we think of flow, right, we think of multiple different things. What I'm talking about flow isn't just like flowing through. Now, think of your leads as flowing down a river from A to Z. What happens when we add all of these things at once? Well, we get very little flow. We get very little people filtering through because we've created so many barriers to get the thing we want. So what I would urge you guys to do if you're having trouble with lead quality is first create flow, okay? First, get a bunch of leads. Now, once you've got a bunch of leads, you want to monetize the flow. Make money from these people, right? Like monetize the flow you currently have. And then after that, only after, is you add friction. And so it's great to get more quality leads, but what I would urge you all to do is create flow, monetize flow, and only then add friction. Right? You want to get proof of concept that your thing works, because let me ask you this. Do you think if you got 100 unqualified leads, or we'll just say leads in general, and you had the opportunity to indoctrinate all of them and bring them through your entire sales process, keep that number in mind, how many you'd close, versus if you only got 10 people but they're higher quality? What is the difference in how many you would close, right? How many more would you close on what versus what? And I would argue most people would close more with the 100 leads because they just get more people. And so I would argue that most people, if you just have a good enough understanding of your sales process and your indoctrination sequences and all these other things that encompass in sales, you could make do with bad leads if you just have a good process. And so what happens is oftentimes people try and pre-qualify way too much, and therefore they lose out on a ton of volume on the back end, right? They get, or even on the front end, they get nobody in the door because they try and qualify so hard up front. And therefore, yeah, they get some good people in the door, but they get very few good people. And so what I'd urge you to do is, instead of trying to add a bunch of barriers, add a bunch of friction at the front end, get a bunch of people in the door, get everybody in the door, because the more people you get in the door, the more chances you have. And if we all know, you miss every shot you don't take, so you might as well get as many shots as you can, so you can, 1, mess up the most, 2, learn the most, 3, have the most chances, and then nurture and qualify and add friction afterwards. And so what this looks like, practically speaking, is, let's refresh this so we can get a clean slate here, is instead of, let's say if this is your timeline, okay, from A to Z, right, of getting a lead. So instead of adding all the friction up here, right, and then only getting a few people to make it to the end, what you do instead is add all the friction back here. So get everybody in the pipeline. Get them, let's say this is a lead magnet, get their info, okay? Get all their info, and then qualify after, because in this way you have a huge database. You get a lot more people in the door that know, like, and trust you and start to get to know about you. And so instead of disqualifying people up front and not even giving them the chance to become a lead, qualify them after. Now listen, this may not work in all types of businesses, but in most businesses, like for example, in agencies or even as real estate agents, right? Like if we pre-qualify people too much up front, we never have the chance to, in a couple years, work with them. Right? Like if you qualify too hard up front, maybe in a month they want to come by. Maybe in a year they want to come by. Maybe they have a friend or a nephew or a neighbor that wants to buy. But they won't bring them to you if you disqualify them here, because they don't even get to be in the sales cycle or in the sales funnel. So add the qualification steps after That way you can get them in the database, you can get them in your community, you can get them in your network and go from there. But there you go. That is 5 ways that you can increase your lead quality starting today. But keep in mind, the more you increase lead quality, the less volume that you have. I hope that this video was helpful. If so, leave a comment down below of what one of the 5 steps you think is the best, and I'll chat with you guys soon.